How did Adolf Hitler's hatred of Jews turn into the Holocaust, the systematic murder of 6 million people? Was it personal experience, political strategy, or something rooted deeper in European history? Hitler did not invent antisemitism. For centuries, Jews in Europe faced discrimination, violence, and exclusion. In medieval times, they were blamed for plagues, economic crises, and social unrest. By the 19th century, anti-Semitism shifted from religious prejudice to racial ideology. Jews were no longer attacked only for their beliefs, but portrayed as a separate and dangerous race. These ideas were already widespread in Austria and Germany when Hitler was growing up. Born in 1889 in Austria, Hitler spent important years in Vienna, a city filled with nationalist and anti-Semitic politics. Politicians and newspapers openly blamed Jews for cultural change, modern art, and economic problems. There is little solid evidence that his hatred came from personal conflict. Historians believe it developed gradually, shaped by extremist ideology and propaganda. Then came World War I. Germany's defeat in 1918 shocked the nation. Many could not accept that their powerful army had failed. Instead, a conspiracy theory spread, the so-called stab-in-the-back myth. It falsely claimed that Germany had been betrayed from within by Jews, socialists, and democratic politicians. There was no evidence to support this claim. Thousands of Jewish soldiers had fought loyally for Germany. But Hitler embraced the myth completely. It became central to his political message. In the 1920s and early 1930s, Germany collapsed economically. Hyperinflation wiped out savings. The Great Depression brought mass unemployment and desperation. In times of crisis, people look for someone to blame. Hitler and the Nazi Party offered simple answers to complex problems. They blamed Jews for capitalism, for communism, for financial instability, even for moral decline. The accusations contradicted each other, but they were emotionally powerful, and many Germans listened. Hitler's hatred was not only political, it was racial. In his book Mein Kampf, he described Jews as a biological threat to the so-called Aryan race. He framed history as a racial struggle, where survival required eliminating enemies. When he became chancellor in 1933, ideology became law. Jews were stripped of citizenship under the Nuremberg laws. They were removed from jobs, schools, and public life. Propaganda portrayed them as parasites, conspirators, enemies of civilization. Dehumanization was systematic and relentless. In 1938, violence erupted during Kristallnacht. Jewish homes, businesses, and synagogues were destroyed across Germany and Austria. It was a warning of what was coming. During World War II, Nazi policy escalated further. Under the cover of war, the regime implemented what it called the final solution, the systematic murder of 6 million Jews. Mass shootings, forced labor, starvation, extermination camps. This genocide did not begin overnight. It was the result of years of radicalization, propaganda, and state-directed hatred. There was no factual basis for Hitler's beliefs, no evidence of a Jewish conspiracy, no proof of betrayal, no racial threat. His ideology was built on pseudoscience, conspiracy theories, and extremist nationalism. But when hatred is repeated often enough and backed by state power, it can reshape reality. The story of why Hitler hated the Jews is not just about one man. It is a warning about how dangerous ideas, when normalized and weaponized, can lead to catastrophe on an unimaginable scale.